Hi students, welcome back to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Very good morning all. Let us start today's class. Students, as we are discussing about the animal tissues now. So, in the animal tissues, I told you we have 4 different types of tissues, right? So, those 4 are epithelial and connective, third is muscle, and the last one is nervous tissue, right? Animal tissues are of 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscle and nervous tissue. In the before classes, we have discussed about the epithelial and the connective tissues. Today, of course, I have started the muscle tissue. I gave a little bit introduction. So, once again, I want to give from the beginning of this topic, that is the muscle tissue. Right? Let us go to the topic, students. Today, about animal muscular tissue we are going to discuss. Muscle tissue is a type of contractile tissue. Okay, muscle in the sense, only one point should strike our mind, that movement. Okay, see, this movement is provided by the rhythmic contraction and the relaxation of the muscle. Okay, so we are the animals. If you are able to move from one place to other place, so there are birds, they are flying, so fishes are swimming in the water. So everything is possible simply due to the presence of a great tissue known as muscle tissue. Okay, see here, that is the reason muscle tissue is well known as contractile tissue. Contractile tissue, and it occupies more than 40% of the total weight of the body. Okay, each and every movement, every breath and every mouthful you chew, all these actions are carried out by the body muscles. Okay, closing and opening of the eyelids, smiling, crying, okay, chewing of the food materials, all different actions are simply with the help of muscular movements only we could able to do all that movements. Okay, and let us talk about the structure of muscle tissue now. Okay, muscle tissue is composed of a special protein known as contractile protein. What is that name of the protein, students? Contractile protein. Okay, next, cells of muscular tissue are elongated or known as muscle fibers. Actually, cells are of muscle tissue are elongated. So, cells are little bit long in size. So, we can call them as a muscle fiber. Muscle fiber. Okay. And a group of muscle fibers united to form a muscle. So, tissue in the sense, as you all know, that a group of cells will combine to form a tissues. Am I right? So, in the same way, a group of muscle fibers. So, each muscle fiber is nothing but a muscle cell. A group of muscle fibers unite to form a muscle. Okay, so muscle fibers are covered by a sheath or a protected membrane is known as, this muscle fiber is covered by a sheath known as sarcolemma. Sarcolemma. Okay, and the cytoplasm which is present inside of our muscle fiber is known as sarcoplasm. Okay, so each and every cell is made up of a fluid-like substances, that is nothing but the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm which is present in the muscle tissue or a muscle cell have a special name known as sarcoplasm. And one more important point, this cytoplasm is having a special fibrils. Okay, a long and thin fibrils. Those are nothing but myofibrils. What is that, students? Myofibrils. So there are we can see the presence of small slender like filament like things in the sarcoplasm of our muscle cell. Those are known as myofibrils. These myofibrils are actually the contractile element in the muscle fiber. So each myofibril has two types of proteins known as myosin and actin. So what are those two proteins, students? Myosin and other protein actin. So these two are the special proteins which are present in the myofibrils of the sarcoplasm. And the actin and the myosin filaments slides past each other to shorten the fibrils, causing the whole muscle to contract. The cytoplasm is called sarcoplasm. So because of this adjustment of this two proteins known as actin and the myosin, so they can give the outward movement such as contraction, relaxation by the muscle tissue. Okay, so with this rhythmic contraction, the relaxations of this muscle tissue, so the particular part of the tissue or part of the body could able to move. Okay, understand, students? This is the introduction of the muscle tissue. Okay. Next, working of the muscle. So different things, different works we could able to do in our day-to-day life. Okay, so simply we can walk, we are running, we are simply we are doing n number of works, lifting of small objects, car driving, bike driving, everything. So simply all these are things, all these are simply by the action of the muscles. Okay, so muscles are attached to the bone of a skeleton by a cord known as tendon. So about the tendon and the ligament already we have studied in the fibrous tissues. Okay, actually students, there are two fibrous tissues, right? First one is tendon and the second one is ligament. Okay, see, tendon is a special fibrous tissue which connects the bone with the muscle. Okay, so bone is having the connection with the muscle by means of a special connecting tissue known as tendon. And the ligaments are, it is a tissue which connects a bone with the other bone. So what is that, students? Ligament. Okay, and see students, if you want to lift a bucket of water, okay, so first that is the stimulus, right? And signal should be passed by a brain, that is from the central nervous system. So to work each and every muscle in our body, okay, even the closing of the eyes, opening of the eyes, crying, smiling, so many things. So whatever the action may be, our muscle tissue should get the signals or instructions from the brain itself. That is nothing but the central nervous system, CNS. Okay, first our brain should send the signals through the nerve cell or nerve fibers. So in the form of nerve impulse through the concerned tissue. So if I want to do any work with my right hand, okay, so my brain is to give the instruction to my right hand, you do that. Okay, so I can easily lift the bucket of water from the floor. So I can do the action simply by the instructions of the brain. So whenever my right hand, the muscle cells which are present in my right hand, if will get the signals from the brain, immediately within a fraction of seconds I could able to lift the bucket of water from the floor. So what I mean to say is that for each and every action that is performed by the animal or an individual, so or whatever it is, what's the organism, so that should get the signals from the brain. Okay, so and as a result muscle contracts and pulls the bone of the forearm. Okay, so see students, here it is show, this slide is giving the idea about the muscular contraction and the relaxation, right? Locomotion and the movement. So if the animal can able to walk, can able to consume the food materials, okay, so all things are simply possible by means of muscular system which is present in our body. That is the reason, so muscle tissue it occupies 40% of the total body weight, right? And here tissues are of muscle tissue is of two types, students. Okay, how many types? Two types. Okay, voluntary muscles and involuntary. See students, by seeing the name itself we should understand the concept which is involved in the particular topic, that is, okay, so voluntary muscles, their action, their contraction, their relaxation is completely under the control of individual. So sensibly man is going to perform such action of voluntary muscles. So if I want to write on the board something, so wantedly, so the writing on the board, it is completely under my will. Okay, understand? So but, and one more important point, which functions as per the directions of the conscious brain. Brain can stop or start then. So if I want to stop writing means I am writing something on the board, students. So if I want to write means I can continue. So no, I don't want to write means if I want to stop means I can pull my hand back. So writing and stopping, so both the actions are under my control. Okay, so these type of things or actions performed by the individual are completely voluntary. The actions performed by the particular muscle is voluntary muscles. Understood? Next, for example, skeletal muscles that come into the use when we walk. So next, let us go with the second type of muscle, that is involuntary muscle, which functions on their own, independent of conscious will. So if I want to stop particular action, I can't. Okay, it is completely not under the control of the animal or an individual. Okay, so brain can't stop or start them. For example, breathing in and breathing of the gases. If I want to take oxygen and if I want to excrete the carbon dioxide, so both are not at all under the control of the animal. Okay, these things are completely involuntary actions performed by the involuntary muscles which are present in our body. So that is the reason. So muscle tissues are of two types, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary means, so it's simply under the control of the conscience of the will, and the second one is it's not at all under the control of the person or a brain. Right? Next. Actually, students, here muscle tissues are of 3 types. So far we discussed about the what do you mean by the muscle tissue? Okay, different types of muscle tissue basing on their actions, voluntary and involuntary, again basing on their structure, shape and everything. So muscles are again divided into 3 types. Okay, what are those, students? These 3 are the 3 different types of muscle tissue basing on the structure and the functions, right? Okay, 3 types. First one is skeletal muscle. Okay, the second type is smooth muscle. Third type is cardiac. Actually, skeletal muscles are also known as striated muscles. Striated or striped muscles. Okay, the other names of smooth muscle is non-striated muscles. Okay, so basing on the structure and the functions performed by the particular muscle tissues or muscle tissues are of 3 types: striated muscles, smooth muscles and cardiac muscles. So let us discuss those. First, let us talk about the striated muscles, students. These striated muscles are also known as striped, skeletal and voluntary. So voluntary in the sense they are completely under the will of animal. Skeletal muscles, striped muscles or striated muscles. Okay, see students, each striated muscle fiber is long, cylindrical and unbranched with multinucleated condition. See, that's a very unique characters going to have by our striated muscle. It is long, cylindrical, multinucleated and unbranched cells. You just see the picture on the board. Okay, and it bears striations in the form of alternate light and dark bands. See, alternate light and dark bands are present over this skeletal muscle. That is the reason it has got the name, other name, striated muscle. Striations are there, and this fiber have blunt ends. The number of oval nuclei occur peripherally in each fiber below the sarcolemma. See students, I'll explain you this meaning. If this is the cell, right? If this is the cell and nucleus supposed to be present at the bottom of the nucleus, bottom of the cell, and the shape of the nucleus is oval shape. Oval shaped nucleus is present in the striated muscle cells. Oval shaped nucleus, and this is made up of a cytoplasm known as sarcoplasm, and it is covered by a sheath known as sarcolemma. And muscle has the ability to contract rapidly and thus is responsible for the kick movement. So students, so it responds very rapidly. So that is the reason, so the muscular action performed by the skeletal muscles are so quick. And the muscles are also known as voluntary muscles. Their contraction is completely under the will of person. Okay, next, they get fatigued soon, mean they'll be getting tired. So when you'll do any continuous work for 2 or 3 hours, so if you'll walk for 3 hours continuously without any break, so our muscles will get tired. So our body want to take rest for minimum 15 minutes. Then we could able to, after taking a 10 minutes or 15 minutes gap or rest, so again we could able to walk or run. So that is the reason muscle tissue, this striated muscle they'll be fatigued soon. Okay, they'll be tired. And location, these are found in the limbs, face, neck and the body walls. So what are the different locations we could see this presence of muscle, striated muscle, students? In the limbs, face and the neck region and the body wall. And the functions performed by our striated muscles are: striated muscles attached to the bone help in the body movement. So these striated muscles having the direct connection or contact with the bone, so that is a reason which helps in the process of movement and the locomotion. Second important function, it controls breaking, chewing and the swallowing of the food. So eating, chewing of the food, swallowing, so all things are coordinated and controlled. So it is very important procedure performed by the animal. So chewing of the food material, we have to swallow the things very slowly. Okay, so it's a very good work. So and all these actions are being controlled by our striated muscles. And it helps in the breathing activity also. See students, so taking of the oxygen means respiration, breathing, and so we will be having the trachea. Okay, that is nothing but the windpipe. So from the trachea, air enters into the lungs. So this contraction and the relaxation movements performed by the lung. So which are all these different actions are supported by our striated muscles. And last important function that is performed by our striated muscle is this muscle also control the blinking of the eyes. So blinking, so not closing and opening, students. Suddenly we used to blink our eyes. So depending upon their circumstances, when light focus on our eyes means immediately, so we could able to show the particular movement of the eyes. So that action also performed by our striated muscles. So these are the different functions performed by the striated muscle. Okay, I'll show the, see students, this is the structure of striated muscles. Next, we'll go with the unstriated muscles, also known as non-striated, smooth or involuntary muscles. So these are also known as unstriated, non-striated, smooth muscles and involuntary muscles. Why it has got the smooth means it doesn't have any stripes or striations. Let us start. See, each smooth muscle fiber is spindle shaped and unbranched and uninucleated. You just get the difference between the previous one and this one, students. So in the striated muscles, so here their cells are long, here cells are spindle shaped. There multinucleated condition we could see. Here uninucleated means the cells are having just only single cell, single nucleus, uninucleated condition, and unbranched. Muscle fibers do not show any striations. So in the earlier case we have seen the black and white stripes over this muscle tissue. That type of striations or stripes are not there in the smooth muscle. Okay. Fibers have pointed ends In the previous case, it is having the blunt ends. See students, if you want to study means, so you have to follow some tips students. You need to compare the previous one with the present one. Okay, if you'll keep on learn it this way means you will not forget the concepts. Okay, so it is a very good way of learning students. Okay, you'll remember all these concepts for longer time. Understand? Let us go on to the topic. These muscles contract and relax very slowly, where quick movement is there in the striated muscles, and these are known as involuntary muscles as their movement is not under the control of our mind. So if I want to control my action of particular unstriated muscle, I can't. It is not at all under the control of my wish, right? And fatigue is rare in smooth muscle fibers, so they'll be not tired here. So in the previous case, skeletal muscle, they'll be tired. Okay, so they need some rest, but here, so it is not, it's very rare. Fatigue is very rare in the smooth muscle fibers. Location: they are found in the walls of organs like stomach, intestine, blood vessels, ureters, bronchi, lungs, urinary bladder, iris. You just see the location students. Stomach, digestion is under our control? No. And the blood vessels, the flow of blood is on our control students? No. Okay, bronchi. So if I want to take air, I can. Okay, so only external part only we just in our control. So remaining part, it's not at all in our the control. Okay, so urinary bladder, iris. So all these are the special muscular actions performed by the unstriated muscles or smooth muscles. And functions: in the intestine, smooth muscle fibers helps to push the food down along the alimentary canal by the movement known as peristalsis. Peristalsis. See students. Okay. And this is the esophagus, right? Okay. This is the stomach. And we are having the connection with large intestine. Roughly I'm drawing students. Okay. And inside this we are having the small intestine, right? So the movement of the food, of course we will be getting the food from the esophagus, then to the stomach. Here the digestion is started, then it go on to the small intestine. So this movement, okay, the flow of the food should be by the peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement. These movements are exhibited by the smooth muscles which are present in the intestine and the stomach. Okay, the inner linings of the stomach. See students, the inner linings of the stomach and this our small intestine, they are supposed to lined with the smooth muscles. So these smooth muscles facilitates the movement of food. So the flow of the food to the downward direction. So that particular movement is known as peristaltic movement, that is coordinated and maintained by the smooth muscles. Right? And emptying of the urinary bladder occurs due to the contraction of the smooth muscles. Okay, if I want urination. Okay, so we could feel the sense of passing of the urine. Immediately we'll go to the toilet and we'll excrete the urine. So that is coordinated by the smooth muscles. And involuntary movement of iris and the ciliary body of the eye helps in the automatic adjustment of the amount of light and the focus of objects based on the distance. Actually, we have iris, a special muscle which is present in our eye students. Simply, this contraction, the relaxation of the iris movements is completely basing on it's nothing but the light adjustment. The lens in the camera, how they'll work in the same way, the work of our iris also in our human eye. Okay, this adjustment is mainly coordinated by the smooth muscle which are present in the iris. And these are the different functions of smooth muscle. Next, these structures I'll show students. Smooth muscle. So here spindle shaped. See, this is the spindle shaped cells, right? Okay, if the shape is like this, means we call this as a spindle shape. This shape of cells we can see in the smooth muscles. Next, students, third type is cardiac muscles. Next type is cardiac muscles, third type. It is also known as involuntary muscles. So, out of three, only one is voluntary, that is striated muscles, and the rest two are involuntary muscles. Smooth and the cardiac are involuntary muscles. Okay. Cardiac muscle fibers, also known as involuntary. There are small, cylindrical, branched and involuntary muscle fibers. These are small, cylindrical in shape, okay, branched, where in the previous two cases it is unbranched, and involuntary muscle fibers. The muscle fibers have broad ends. So, in the first case it is having the blunt ends, and in the second case it is having the fine ends. Here it is having the broad ends, and they have transverse striations with light and the dark bands. So, it is having the transverse striations. And however, striations are fainter than those of the striated muscle fibers. Okay, what the next point about this, a special electrical junctions are called intercalated discs are present at the intervals of each fiber. So, it will be having the special junctions known as intercalated discs. Okay, at intervals of fibers. Cells are uninucleated. It is having just single cell, and nucleus is centrally placed. If it is the cell, students, so it is uninucleated, and cytoplasm is present at the center of the cell. Next, muscle shows rhythmic contractions, and they are involuntary muscle fibers. They are not at all under the control of the will, and they seldom get fatigued. They keep on performing their functions throughout the life. They will not get tired, students. So, they will be working continuously throughout the life. So, these are the cardiac muscles, right? Okay. Locations. Cardiac muscle fibers are found in the walls of the heart. So, the location of this cardiac muscle is, we could see this presence of cardiac muscle, students, in the walls of the heart. See, walls of the heart. So, the walls of the heart is supposed to made up of cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles. See, students, the cells which are present in the cells are known as myocytes. These are the fibrils like structures. Okay, cardiac muscle. So, which helps in the pumping of the blood to the whole body. Okay, that pumping. So, the movement, okay, walls and the chambers movement, everything is facilitated by the cardiac muscles. So, here these are the intercalated discs which are present in the cardiac muscle. A unique feature of this cardiac muscle is presence of intercalated muscles. So, these are the cardiac muscle, students. And function, the rapid contraction, the relaxation of the cardiac muscle fibers helps in the pumping of the blood through the heart. So, heart, the main function of the heart is, students, pumping of the blood, that you know very well. So, this pumping means the pushing of the blood into the blood vessels. Okay. So, with the pressure. So, all this can be possible by means of muscular movement, that is cardiac muscular movement, which is present in the heart. So, with this I have explained all three different types of muscle tissues: skeletal, smooth and cardiac muscles. I hope you all understood the lesson, and let us go on to the next one, comparison of the all three muscles. Okay, and with this I can complete this video, students. So let us talk about the striated muscles, smooth, cardiac. Okay, on the basis of the structure, so all these are divided into three types that you know very well. So here in the striated muscle, cells are long, cylindrical in shape, whereas here cells are elongated. Long is very different from the elongated, and here the spindle shaped cells, where cells are small and cylindrical in the cardiac muscles. And the second point is cells are unbranched. Here also cells are unbranched, but there in the last case, that is in the cardiac muscles, it is branched. And third type, fibers have blunt ends. Here pointed ends in the middle. Here it is having the broad. Okay, blunt, pointed and broad ends are there in the cardiac muscles. Next, cells are multinucleated. It is having more nucleus in the cell, and the cells are uninucleated. Okay, and fifth point, fibers possess striations. Striations are absent here. Striations are present, but they have fainter than those of the striated muscle fibers. Sixth one, intercalated discs are absent here, and here they are present. Presence of intercalated discs are very unique feature possessed by our cardiac muscles. And the seventh point about this, fibers occurs in the bundles. Fibers are found in the form of sheets. Fibers are like form a network. Very important point. Here in the form of bundles, in the middle it is in the form of sheath, in the last it is in the form of a network like structure. So all these are structural changes we are discussing. Okay, next they are voluntary in nature, involuntary, and the last one is also involuntary. On the basis of the location, okay, they are found in the limbs, hands, feet, tongue, pharynx. Smooth muscles are present in the genital tracts, digestive tract, lungs, iris, blood vessels. They are found only in the heart. Okay, cardiac muscles only found in the heart. And on the basis of the function, they are able to perform fast and powerful contractions, hence they get fatigued soon. So they'll function very fast. Okay, very rapid functioning we can see with this striated muscles. There is a reason they'll be fatigued very soon. So they'll be tired. Next, they perform slow but prolonged contractions. So digestion, breathing and all, flow of the food material in the intestine. So all these are very slow movements performed by the smooth muscles, right? And next, third important point, they perform powerful and rhythmic contractions and get fatigued seldom. Okay, so the pushing of the blood and pumping of the blood is mainly by the cardiac muscle which is present in our heart. Understand, students? Okay, so with this I can complete this muscle tissue. In the next class I'll explain about the nervous tissue. Okay, I hope you understood my lesson. Thank you all. Thank you so much.